Hi guys, welcome to a very interesting vlogging update idea. So I was actually sitting up, and you can have seen more of my bed. By the way, that is my baby camera. But unfortunately, my daughter has decided that I needed to be given her all my attention while she sleeps. So I'm holding her binky in her mouth while she gets comfortable. In the meantime, we will discuss Good Neighbors. by, by Stephanie Burgess, which is out January 3rd. She's probably one of my absolute favorite writers, to be honest. I appreciate her sense of humor, the way she writes romance, the elements of like sci-fi, fantasy, historical romance, all kind of rolls together. I was really happy to get an arc of this. I've been waiting on it, and I wanted to do it in a time where I knew I'd have the time to really enjoy it and be comfortable in it. Because again, she's one of my favorites. She writes the Spellbound series, which is kind of a what if Boudica had survived and married someone with magic, and what would happen if she was the leader of society. It's really interesting the way she does it. She writes very like women of character, and I don't mean like women of like good character, but like women of character. Like they are all standouts. Like they're no two are alike, right? So I love that. Sorry about any glare, but that's what happens when I can see myself. So I was just I've been loving this. I'm about a third of the way through. Mia has got some kind of magical ability to create things from metal and to create all these different ideas, and it's really fun. And then Leander, her love interest, is a necromancer who has a tendency to enjoy helping uh minions, which are like grotesque characters, into a better life. So it's really interesting so far. I'm appreciating it. I like again, there's a lot of banter back and forth, which is kind of like what Stephanie is known for, and I love that. I love banter. If you like Tessa Dare, you'll probably definitely love Stephanie. She has some middle grade books. I have not read those, so I can't not give you any information about those. But that's kind of what it is. Sorry, I also filmed a video. I filmed the reading goals video today, so I'm like half in outfit, half not, but at least I'm, comfortably here. All right. I think that the scene in the hall, like the big, hall with people, is very interesting and fun and unique, and I like the visualization of it because I can follow it. I also like how, you know, this guy is very he wants to get to know her. She doesn't want to get to know him because she doesn't really want to get to know anybody after something that happened to her when she was, previously in another town, and she had to move and start over and all kinds of stuff. And I think that's very something we can all feel about. You know what I mean? Like I think we can follow that. Oh, I guess I should do this. Hold on. See, baby sleeping. Okay. So I sorry. So I'm really enjoying this. I'm liking the way they communicate. I like the fact that her father seems to be kind of on the ball and sharp without being aggressively so. He's aware of things now. Maybe he wasn't aware of before. She's kind of like a girl with talents that no one knows what anything to do with, and I can appreciate that because I think it says a lot about how she writes women who maybe don't fit into society and have to struggle for that. And I think that's something we can all learn. Stephanie is just someone that I love her work. Scales and Sensibility is one that I can also recommend. That is her Regency Romance with Dragons. Tiny little dragons. Okay, let me get back to reading a little bit, and I will update this vlog. Maybe I will have more in this. I don't know. It may just be a vlog on this. This should take another couple of updates because I have to go cook in a few minutes, and I'll be listening to more of it then when my husband gets done with dishes because you need pots and pans, oddly enough, to cook with. Hey, look, it's the famous orange lights that I keep talking about in the videos. Up there? Okay. So I'm here for my second part of the vlog for Good Neighbors. I need to finish it by the end of the night because it comes out on January 3rd. I'm 65% of the way through. I'm really enjoying it. If you like Molly Harper, you're going to really appreciate and enjoy these. It's got like a mad dash of steam and communication, and everything kind of goes together really well. I appreciate the fact that two main characters, Mia and Leander, are very different, and they have different perspectives about things, and they have different experiences, and they have different definitions of family. And it really works because as the story progresses, they get further along into their relationship, and now they have moved on to the okay, we've admitted we like each other, we admitted we want to stay together. How do we make this work? And I you can definitely see how this plays out. Like if you think of this as a TV show, this is probably mm, like probably around the time when the families meet each other and that kind of situation. And so that actually just happened. Uh, and you can definitely see how they are, who they are, and why they are. And as for this camera angle, it's because my house is so messy right now, but I need to do this while my daughter is asleep and while I'm still making dinner. I will put some little things after this and show you some of the soup, and then we're gonna have it for dinner, and I'll show you the ladled version of the soup. I kind of made it on the fly. I do that a lot of the time. And so I've also been busy doing other stuff today, so I haven't been able to read a lot. And it's very clear that found family is very important, and it's very like indicative of Burgess's writing in general. Found families are always really important. If you have read any of her other work, you will know this, that family is what you make, not necessarily what you're born into. And that can hurt and that can help. It depends on who you are in that situation. I really like it. I really enjoy it. I'm looking forward to seeing what's on the rest. I've got roughly 35% left. I'm hoping I can finish that today. My husband's bike got flat, so he had to go across town to get it fixed. And that's quite a ways when you're on the bus and you're coming from a whole nother side of town. So welcome to life in, German transit. So in the meantime, I've been making dinner, getting things done. I've edited a video. I put it up. That would be the 2023 reading goals and the goals in general. So you should have already seen that. If you haven't, go back and check. You can see kind of what I'm planning on doing for the rest of the year. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to finishing up, making dinner and letting it cool in the stove. Back to the grind. Back to the grind. But you should definitely look at the animated hedgehog in the front of this thing because I like it. More reading because that's enough babbling, and we'll see how this goes. Guys, I am back to wrap up the Good Neighbors vlog. I decided to not add anything else to this because I do not have the time to edit them together, and it's going to take a little bit of work to get this short. I don't know what the intro will say because I haven't added to it yet. Okay, so to end off the vlog, I really enjoyed it. I finished it last night. I was gonna, do the recording, and my husband was just exhausted, and he was doing some stuff and keeping an eye on our baby. And Lord, that child, she has got 4-month regression, so I'm exhausted, and I'm about to go back to sleep before I do this. But I want to get it when the sunlight was out because it's kind of rare lately. I like the fact that the found family is such a strong bond in this. I will say there are content warnings. Homophobia very close to home for one of the characters, and it's pretty big. I also think it's pretty interesting that there is a variety of representation in this, especially from the gay, bi, lesbian side of the LGBTQ. It was unexpected, but I really appreciated how it played out. And there's a lot of humor in it with Burgess's writing, and I appreciate that. I felt like the couple actually worked together. There was a slow growth, and by the end, you believed in it. The epilogue was really funny. It was cute. It is a short story collection, so you kind of have to take that into mind that each one ends but it's kind of like flows into the next of them, and they're listed as chapters. So each like short story is a chapter, or every other chapter depending on what it is. I I found Mia really interesting. I thought she was. I wrote this in my review, which reminds me a little bit of Vala from Stargate Atlantis, because there's a little bit of a vibe with that because of the um, there's somewhat of the aura in some of the characters in this, and I appreciate that. It's not a direct copy, but it gave me that feeling of the aura a bit because there's the pure and the purification and stuff like that. So I felt like it was pretty interesting to see that work out the way it did. I really, I think that for me, Burgess is an auto read, and she's like an auto read. Like again, Molly Harper. I keep mentioning her because I really see it a lot. But again, I also see Vala. I don't really see Leander as Daniel Jackson, so it's not a one-on-one fix on their courtship or their maybe courtship, however you want to put it with Vala and Daniel. But I definitely think there was something to it, right? And there was a lot of Mia is not a thief like Vala, so when I say she's like that, but she's got that core inner strength. Like she knows her mind and she knows who she is, and she has her very like well established personal morals, and I like that. I I like the ending because it was a very happy ending, but not a total ending because you don't see like the entire lifetime. I will say the epilogue doesn't do like the 20, 30 years later kind of stuff. It's so fun and interesting, and I really appreciated the impact of how they kind of got together and their grumpy kind of, it's not even enemies to lovers, it's more like disliking each other to lovers, you know? Well, for one of them, the other one was like, ooh, didn't like you, but you kind of got some grit. And that would be Leander to Mia, just to give you an idea. I really liked the, I like how a community can become a family. And I think they did a really good job of that, putting those two together. And how people you don't expect to be on your side can be. And the way that it wrapped up. It wrapped up not necessarily in a pretty bow because it's not what it is, but it did wrap up in a bow that makes sense. Right? And so there's a lot of romance because it is a romance book. But there's this really interesting feel of I don't want to say it's steampunk because it's not, and it's not, but it's not horror either. It's not fantasy. It's this really interesting world because she's known for making these worlds, right? Like I mentioned, I think in the beginning, the Boudica storyline and her spellswept, yeah, spell. I keep calling it spellbound. But I think it's maybe spellbound. I know it's the spellswept is one of the books. It's got that kind of feel of slightly different, slightly reimagined. What happens if a society is based somewhat on the peerage, but without all the other looks because like it shows different class systems and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that. I felt like the romance was balanced in a good way. Like they were evenly matched. It wasn't this weird like power dynamic or something to that benefit. It was very evenly matched. So I definitely recommend it. I gave it 5 stars. I knew I probably was, to be honest, because I usually give her 5 stars because I I appreciate what she does, and I think that's important as a reader. So that was an easy one. And again, you can see I'm so tired. My eyes are so sleepy. And also, I'm going to try and do these more often. I just don't always know I'm going to have time. Hopefully, we can have more of these, and there's more enjoyment between them. I don't have a lot of B-roll for this because I literally did this on the fly. I had no plans on doing a vlog, but then I got to the arc and I was like, oh, right, I could do that. But then I haven't been outside because it's RSV season. It is everyone cough season, and I'm not putting my newborn with her one set of vaccinations still out there, even if she had her mole, but more I wouldn't, but especially right now. And so I've been kind of like deciding on what I can do, so there's not a lot of B-roll. But I hope this is fun. I'm recording this on my new phone, so we'll see how that goes. And I know there's some really odd angles in this vlog, and I would apologize, but it was either odd angles or no vlog. So we'll see how that runs out. This one should be long enough by now, so I'm gonna be quiet. I enjoy Stephanie Burgess. I want more people to read her. I think she's underrepresented. And now my daughter is waking up, so it's definitely time for me to go. Okay, bye. Enjoy the books if you read it. If not, I highly recommend your library or you find a way to do it, because Stephanie Burgess is indie and I love representing and reading indies. Bye.